नमस्कार, राइट नरेटिव में आपका एक बार फिर से स्वागत है एंड वी आर ट्रूली ऑनर्ड एंड प्रिविलेज्ड एंड थैंकफुल टू डॉक्टर राजीव कुमार, वाइस चेयरमैन नीति आयोग, for once again giving us the opportunity to speak to you. Sir, today is a momentous day as Namo 2.0 presents its first budget, and that too by the first full-time finance minister of India, Nirmala Sitharaman. Since the past 2 days, the buzzword has been 5 trillion economy. How do you think we are going to achieve it?
Yeah, but first and foremost, my most sincere, heartiest congratulations to Nirmala ji for breaking yet another glass ceiling,
Yes.
and all power to her. On the 5 trillion economy, the Prime Minister has announced it, and some people believe that it is a over ambitious or a unachievable target, and I really do want to clarify on that, because it's none of that. As the Finance Minister announced, we are already a $2.8 trillion economy, and will be a $3 trillion economy by the end of this fiscal year, which is 2019-20. So, if in the next 4 years, so that means if in the fiscal 24-25, which will be 4 years from $3 trillion economy, if we grow at about between 9 to 9.2% in real terms,
Yes.
we will be surely able to achieve this. In fact, the thing is that even if we grow in nominal terms by 11%, which is about 8.5% of 8% of growth and 3.5% of inflation, or something like that, this number is eminently achievable. We have done these numbers in NITI Aayog, and by the fiscal year 23-24, and surely by 24-25, we will be more than a $5 trillion economy. And there are several sectors, where we will expect and we should get double-digit growth. There are sectors like tourism, there is a sector like civil aviation, there is health on the basis of Ayushman Bharat, where there is expected to be a huge supply response. There is also IT and professional services. And I can go on this, and in the sense that there is retail trade. So all of these, we expect that there is double-digit growth. Now, the government has recently formed 2 committees, one which has submitted its recommendations and accepted on oil and gas sector, where we already beginning to see much bigger investments. I am chairing another committee on mining sector, which has not grown at all, in the past decades, but we can expect that to grow by double digits. So, all told, I think there is enough scope, enough possibility, more than enough possibility for us to achieve this target surely by the year 24-25.
Right. Another issue that's been discussed largely is about agriculture and farming. We came across a term, as I might say, because I had not heard of it. It was zero budget farming. Could you just explain that a little bit for us?
I'm so really personally thrilled to hear that in the budget, because it's a huge breakthrough, and this is something that I was first introduced to it in 2017 November in a conference in Pusa, which the PM had actually spoken at, and then I've been very closely and I must admit passionately pursuing it. This is the real thing. The founder of this is Shri Subhash Palekar, a Padma Shri award winner. He is an agronomist, agro-scientist who has spent 20 years of research on figuring out how to make our farming completely free of chemical inputs, and based on resources, local resources available within 5 kilometers of the farmer's dwelling. And and this is where he has got a method where he's got intercropping, and there are several 4 or 5 things. He's gone around the country training farmers, and I'm very glad to say that there are perhaps about 30 to 40 lakh farmers today in this country who are practicing this. I just recently met about 1,000 of them at Solan, because Himachal Pradesh has taken this up in a very big way, and they want to declare themselves to be Vish Mukt Kheti Pradesh very soon. And here what happens is that your costs go down to less than a third of the so-called modern agriculture. Your carbon in the soil increases dramatically, and which then it fixes the carbon in the atmosphere into the soil, so that the carbon, it is a huge there's only carbon reduction technology, as it were, and that massive impact, positive impact on your climate change and environment. Plus it reduces water requirement. So all of this means that for the first time, and this is now called as the Subhash Palekar natural farming, that through this we will be able to reduce our costs in agriculture, which then will directly contribute to the increase in farmers' income. We will make our products much more natural and organic and chemical free, so that their marketing becomes much easier. So I think that this is something where India would take the lead and actually prepare something for the rest of the world, because agroecology is becoming the buzzword today, and the UN environmental program and the UN FAO have both taken this up and are propagating it. So I am very happy that she's talked about it, and you will see NITI Aayog being very heavily involved in pushing it forward.
Right. So of course, once the budget was over and there were deliberations going on both in the public space as well as in the media, one of the opposition leaders and the former finance minister, P. Chidambaram, did release a document and also did a press conference where he's criticized the budget on two fronts, and I'll take the first one, which is about allocations. He's gone ahead and said that we did not really make any announcements pertaining to the allocations of the amounts in the various
social
schemes.
sectors.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's clearly PC is slipping, because he's otherwise been such a thorough person. He didn't care this time to read the budget documents properly, because if he had seen the expenditure document, he would have noticed that the allocations to all the social sector schemes, Manrega or Saubhag or Ujjwala or Beti Bachao, all of them have not only been retained but have been increased, and therefore, because those are the schemes which the Prime Minister has been dedicated to, has been, these are his flagship schemes, so, and therefore you have to, in fact, the phase 2 of schemes of, for example, Swachh Bharat and Swasth Bharat are being launched now. He must have also, he forgot to notice that the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which is also going to benefit the farmers in the rural sector, has been given 1.2 lakh crores, and the allocations have been increased. So I am afraid he is patently wrong, at least on this one, and I really do commend to him that he should read his expenditure document.
There's another criticism of his to which you did reply on social media, which you usually don't take to, but this time you did. But for the benefit of our audience, he said something about the outcome document, which he's released, and also because the finance minister in the first 30 seconds or so of her speech did make a very clear mention about the role of NITI Aayog in preparation of the various schemes or the budget, etc. So could you just highlight a little bit on the outcome document that he's speaking about, and what is the role of NITI Aayog in terms of preparation of that document?
Yeah, you see, Gunjan, what he said when I heard that is that this government is not interested in measuring outcomes. It's such a patently wrong statement to make, and I wish he doesn't do those things, because he started the outcome budgeting, and for years and years that document has remained a complete sort of farce, because what you get is ministries and departments mentioning their targets, and that is supposed to be the outcome based budgeting. Nothing of the sort, has never achieved anything. Now for the first time ever this year, NITI Aayog had prepared for the Department of Expenditure an outcome framework for evaluating the performance of all the major government schemes, at this moment all those above 500 crores, which actually account for more than 90% of total expenditure. And this document has found the place in the budget document as an independent one, and that performance is now in progress. The evaluation is now in progress on the basis of that framework, which will become the basis for allocation in the next budget. So this is the first time ever that you will get actually real accountability and outcome based performance reviews and allocation in our budgetary process. This is, this is a historical step. This is a completely new dimension now to fiscal responsibility. And I wish, therefore, Mr. Chidambaram would not make these loose statements and give the government its due in terms of taking a very bold step, forward. Because this is something that the government is doing courageously, because some of these evaluations could come out to be not so good. But then you will have to accept this, and I think this is what the government is prepared to do. Apart from this document, I am very glad and grateful to the Finance Minister for mentioning NITI Aayog in her speech, and we have been doing what a think tank is expected to do, which is to give our inputs across a whole range of sectors into different policies and helping her in some ways to clarify some issues. And this task, this job, this role will, I hope, will be further strengthened as we go forward, and we hope to provide more ideas to the Finance Minister as also to some other ministers in how to take the economy forward towards making it a $5 trillion economy.
Yes. So as Namo 2.0 is ushered in, is there a NITI 2.0? Does your role change, evolve, elaborate?
Well, NITI is a young organization. So every day is the day that we learn, every day is the day that we evolve. And our tasks are huge, so very big, cooperative federalism, competitive federalism, getting the coordination between different ministries, providing, new, breakthrough ideas in some cases, etc. So I think while there may not be a NITI 2.0, which some very eminent specialists have talked about, I think we will be continuously evolving and becoming a think tank which will be an organization to reckon with, because we need to bring in all the possible talent, young talent from within India, from abroad, to make sure that India progresses on the path that the Prime Minister has laid out for us.
Is the budget as per your expectation?
Yes, very much so. Very much so, because it's hit all the right buttons. It's a growth oriented budget, it's an investment focused budget. It talks about and it lays out the steps for attracting private sector investment, is also the FDI, and you will see that it continues with its focus on inclusion. So I think this is a budget which marks the beginning of, as you were saying, Namo 2.0, which will see a new India emerge by the time we celebrate the 75th year of our independence.
On that note, thank you so much, Dr. Kumar, for joining us and giving us your time on a very, very hectic day, as we understand.
Thank you.
And sharing your inputs. It's always such a pleasure to speak to you.
Thanks a ton. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you all got your answers to Budget 2019, and I sincerely hope that this budget ushers an era of happiness and growth in your lives too. Thank you so much for joining The Right Narrative.